commentators, though, for this.
Portal, we've got a car off at Malta and now. It is now turbo-charged hybrid machinery. There's a lot of testing for the yellow being produced in this form. Elton was just waiting to head up in this one. The hill climb and they did and they bucked. Putting on the show once again, they have had such great success and they're doing some wonderful rotation. Absolutely brilliant. In fact, wheels at the top being flipped. In fact, the previous car. Driving the Toyota Corolla up the hill at the moment, and Rob Hunt, his teammate, the number 12, who has been back in British touring cars after a long gap. For a lot of people, this is the car. What's so 9.08, and we've only ever seen below 40 today. The fastest we saw in the shootout build up yet wonderful books written about NASCAR and about the ways that they've been you put over the top of the car to check it's the right size to take to see someone produce the man driving this man, who's also racing, as you say, since 2016, they've had a lot of support from for the grip level. Out there like the Lancia Martini, another beautiful following year who went on to a second place. Both had F1 experience as well, but were rapid. The Asia Pacific Series, a couple of years ago they replaced their standard cars from 488 for the win. They built it especially for Goodwood. It's done one test before it's up here to Goodwood. It's going to be pitching for glory. There is track a couple off the hill. Alpine at the Pikes Peak. Pikes Peak. Racers you can find or the GL wagon, but so does the Hunter. at this time of day because he wants this car to be in good form later in today. There is a margin of error built out there. To the land, 4.2, which is now back to 4 in ability, and what is it quiet? I'll tell you what, but he's even better, I think, as a hill climb driver. The way he adjusted, because he had some grip and then no grip, but when you've got 2,000 horsepower, then of course it's going to move around. Yeah, and it was beautiful for the time being, and we've still got plenty of action to come. And it's the final day of of the house to get a view of celebrations of 20 years of the Red Bull Racing Formula 1 team, and then from midday, main thing 1890 to 1960, and then at 12:30 this afternoon, we'll be straight into another action show. Celebrating all things drift, just Niki Lauda, and 130 years of the stage today for one long. And back for another energy moment, celebrating their centenary. Supercars and our main thing, 1891 battle relationship. I've been celebrating this year, and that main theme, horseless to hybrid. Alex, what we've seen so far this weekend just highlights the length and breadth of all things automotive. The diversity on offer, it is just such a pleasure to witness, isn't it?
Oh, it certainly is. About least yesterday at the end of the day. Nice little spin. I'm not sure if it was this one. It might have been this one actually. Roof down today because the weather is much better.
Continental fourth generation Continental GT, over 700 horsepower powertrain, 4-litre twin turbo V8 with an electric motor and Bentley of electric only range. New chassis, dual chamber air springs, dual valve dampers as well. Moved on to this GTC Speed, new design from Google as well, BMW. Also moving away towards the new design of their cars externally. This is the XM label.
Pictures on this Look at so mean. Not just from the front, but from the back as well. A 4.4-litre V8 high
flagship version of its first ever high-performance car with an electric. See already the design change is moving towards the BMW. That now quite striking front grille, slightly altered. The loving life of this MG.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of fun taking it up the hill.
Now from the Volvo brand, and Polestar only has one car in their offering so long now. A whole range of vehicles. This one of the Series 2. Just up from the start line now. Lots of modifications to this Rolls.
Across the weekend. It's really a head turner to say the least, Harry.
This is something that has been left behind following an alien invasion, isn't it? This as well. When you're looking at it, you might not necessarily think it does.
No, it shifts, and it probably shifts quite nicely on the deliveries already in 2023 December. Production will ramp up. It will take time.
And I don't know what the Terminator's going on with. But I do mind breakfast. The exit as well. So
shown very much on a white G-Wagon as well, but this is the EQG from Mercedes. They've been here over the last couple of days. It did showcase that the 360 tank there that the G-Wagon can do.
Up the hill, very close to the hill. I just love that they really kept with the iconic Martini livery as well, and those.
With a huge offering from everything GT to hypercars to Formula 1. Moment celebrating all things. Red Bull racing 20 years, and this of course with the E-Transit Supervan really displaying the way Red Bull are going. Engine on this Ferrari Roma Spider, sleek design as well from Ferrari. X Spider, and this is quite amazing as well. This is with that retractable wing at the back too.
Spectacular, absolutely gorgeous. Super fast as well.
Road legal this. ST3, this very much paying homage to the 1967 Daytona 24 hours race where Ferrari finished in the wheel. This is the most hypercar they've ever made. Naturally
heads into Moulcom. V12, you can probably tell listening to the sound. Let's have a little listen as it heads up through Moulcom Corner and up the
rear-wheel drive.
As you said, Harry, to have them here and this utopia simplicity love.
Well, to Aston Martin now, right here with many a car. This one is the Valor, celebrating 110 years of Aston
Goodwood Festival of Speed.
Absolutely, this one 202 miles per hour top speed, 0 to 62 miles per hour in powering it up the hill. The Aston Martin Vantage Coupe celebrating 110 years of Aston Martin this year. Laying the rubber down to the start line.
I think all the Aston Martin drivers today have been told to do an absolute world of burnout at the start line there, and that's what we are getting. We're not able to have the roof down yesterday afternoon. These supercars head up the hill towards the end of yesterday. Look like
Spectre. This is the world's first ultra-luxury electric super coupe, and really combines history and miles, 430 kilowatt battery powering that, but it is on the heavy side, nearly 3,000 kilograms.
I mean, I would still have one. Doesn't matter if it's on the heavy side. A long bonnet and the grey sport fastback. You can always tell it's a Rolls-Royce, but it's running through the veins of the Spectre there.
The Porsche GT3R a hybrid reduces the weight of the fuel tank and the for the road.
I'm guessing this is Max Chilton behind.
The track only evolution of that. 1,000 brake horsepower over 2. talking a lot about all things the power in this ECS, and also with that with latest in there offering still a slider.
So is one of my favourites. Something a big has been driving us for this weekend, and here is the Artura Spider.
Yeah, this is the hybrid version from the car. Celebrating 60 years. Stunning blue Artura Spider, the latest offering. This is the Danwang U9, the luxury brand of BYD.
Twin tail.
Yeah, this is from the Gatto and the Squadron. This is actually based on Alpine designs. Initially the A110s were built for Le Mans, and the reason it's called twin tail is because it's got a removable rear end.
No, you can actually say you can really see it in the front. Certainly has some Alpine DNA somewhere along the line. There's the iconic headlights and the shape.
These are out on track now. Making its debut. Californian-based vehicle design. The 911 reimagined by at the wheel. Marino Franchitti's been driving this so far this weekend. Cars.
500 brake horsepower. Inspiration from the iconic birthday this year, and this car from 1991 has been restored for its
Painted white and the rear end bodywork bolted onto the back. It's another example of across the line. It's the Porsche 911 reimagined. Now the wheel on this one has gone from 1990, not just from 1991. With an almost 500 brake horsepower, just a tad under it. Driving this for them, the Californian-based vehicle design company, Marino Franchitti. The
very first time with this car in the Silver White. Goes to the public release here at the Festival of Speed. And actually, this was not restored. Wallace, I believe, is at the wheel.
this is the Ducati Bolide that is making its way up the hill. Now just 40 units. Wow, which is now heading up the hill. The latest offerings that Ducati has come to show for us. And the Mistral, it worked with that
An incredible 1,600.
sold at 5 million euros. This is the fastest roadster in the world. Top speed 206. Car company Hispano Suiza are returning to the floor with their fully electric car. This one heading up to the Carmen Sacrera, driven by Luis Perez Sada, the former Minardi Formula 1 driver, and the Hispania racing team F1.
It's leaving some 911 sound. Their 4-litre V8 twin-turbo hybrid is actually exclusive to Lazanti. Incredible top speed of 217 miles an hour in that beautiful
McLaren P1. Lazanti, the UK-based engineering firm, taking this one up.
so close to the head. I think actually might have just run the score on the right-hand side there. And certainly putting the Lazanti through its paces, giving a good squirt.
Celebrating the MC12, the 20th anniversary of Maserati, with several offerings of the MC20.
Yeah, only 20 of those examples. So, 1.5-litre engine under there. V6 twin turbo, actually a Formula 1 engine.
Yeah, so what they do car, so this one actually has the Alan Prost Belgian 1987 Formula 1 race winning engine. in the rear of that.
Actually built to honour John Watson, the Formula 1 driver, racing with the tag
treating us with a full range of offerings. This time, the Porsche 935, 3.8 litre flat 6 twin.
935. 700 brake horsepower.
Based on the 911 GT2 RS, fitted with that same 6-cylinder twin turbo, generating 700 horsepower. This car being displayed here. Now we've seen Marino compromise, as we have come to know from Goodwood. 3.9 litre V12 Projet engine.
Rallied a big Rover V8 in the same colours as the Golden One for Chris. But it is about the sponsorship, it is also about the wonderful colours of rallying, as we do see the Subaru at time.
Okay. 237.1 for Roger Duckworth. That was a fantastic run through the stage.
Yes, Subaru 243.59.
So what's going to be behind there?
Yeah, the running Fiesta.
So they did well yesterday, Julian Blanc, Sarah Romo, and the Rally 2 Fiesta, the Stefan Sarazan car, and branching out now, James, now into rallying. This is their first parade. And there was no one around, I just heard this clapping from the hillside, and then someone doing this. The whole thing was about 400 yards further down, experimental metro had broken down, and they'd watched that. Ah, there you go, I got caught. Engine pulling very nicely. 301.9.
Yesterday's shootout winner is back to the detective about to see what comes through. We will It's really blaring into the commentary unit here, but I'm hearing it might have started raining.
Oh, we look at the camera lens. Where it's going.
So just where the Delta Zone is, it's right at the southern edge of the track, we believe there's some light rain really slippy, as if it wasn't slippy enough already to steer where we're seeing the Proton right now.
He gets next all the way down the hill there, and the rocks and rubble and dust and everything are dragged on. Every Parry Dakar for about 25 years. That's right. I think he's probably loving it. So that was part of the deal, and he said, the bloodline. This is Renault, this is the E20 from 12 years ago. Aligned with the other we've done it, and so he's giving the band a treat. Yeah, very much. Has YouTube, and he's taking his car any driver. It's the most modern car you got. Get into it, but the general doing the donuts, but you don't get the real full thing, but you do just the final corner to go, just enough credit.
certainly will. So there we go.
Down and Mark Webber, David Supercars. So was that a winning team at that stage? With which the team took their first Drivers' Championship and first Constructors' Championship, with the massive battle actually taking the Drivers' Championship by Mark Webber, but he raced it very effectively as well.
Managing to hold on the hard charge Mark. He took the crease in his car. Someone who is able to get a few extra laps in and on top of on the hill alongside the incredible about it.
Yeah, so it's something that we see sometimes work out, but they are enjoying themselves. And that's what is so unique about being at the Festival of Speed. I popped down to the Cathedral Paddock earlier where all of the cars did one of those.
you're in trouble, but that was amazing. Just go around the middle of the shot is the very steep section.
I mean, the mind of engineers, I'm just talking about.
third car on the hill, reached Malcolm, went a little bit to the right hand side. Characteristic at this sort of period, and this is mid-2005. Racing, and they're trying well, we've got a whole batch of manufacturers. Remember, this is the car. Driving it. As we saw this morning, putting a fantastic show. This is in the Alpine race
It has actually got as far as 130. Early stage, and the pioneers, and now we've got one of the Mercedes. We're celebrating a lot of Mercedes actually this weekend, aren't we? Important, but then Grand Prix racing in the 1930s. In the 1906, down 200 horsepower. So he was yesterday. Now, looking at the Ferrari. They were lovely to watch. You are seeing, as you say, track's still pretty dusty, Ben, as one's already deep into multiple. Now we get seconds, over the line goes Gavin, 51.6, that puts his Supercar Championship he lost. At this stage.
very well, flies through, picks up all the
Celebrating 75 years for Henry family in competition. European Khaki, 7-time champion, 200 watts. What an incredible record. He was the first driver to have a number 43 on the track. It's lovely to see him racing out of town. Let's have a huge round of applause for the king.
Electricity, the excitement, the wind. Robert, so many guys are celebrating 75 years. So. I've got young kids that growing up and was around race cars. I laugh at him all the time. He's the only race car driver, a guy that's ever been a part of motorsports. Be able to step back in time and to drive a car that is so iconic, to drive a car that he made famous with that 43 on the door of that car. What brings you back every time?
The magic of the place. It's an accumulation of the racing world all in one place. As far as I know, racing and all forms of cars, motorcycles, and everything. They got a little bit of everything.
We talk about it a lot from the standpoint of the south of the United States. Certainly Great Britain. But what ties us all together? And what? Bon appetit? Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, Richard and Kai Pettit. We're pumping off here at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, but all the family, and I've made my way to the Stadium family area where I'm going to fulfill a childhood dream of digging.
It's at 16 horsepower
We saw this last night. They're desperate to get me behind the wheel of this thing. I just know it's a track-only car, 1,000 horsepower, and generates 2 tons of downforce. I heard you yesterday saying, "What? Not seen this Rolls-Royce Spectre on the hill? Please look at the hill. Look at the big screen now. You will never see a Rolls-Royce like this going up the hill. Just literally, it was in the shootout."
Coupe from Rolls-Royce. It really shows that you don't have to have a Rolls-Royce with a V12 at the front of it for it to still be an absolutely magnificent piece of machinery.
I loved it. Enhanced the experience, so quiet, so cruising, and then it does that.
Aston Martin here with a full like the Montage Coupe, the Velour, the Valiant, and the DB12 Velant, which just set off from the start line. But this one is
Yeah, it's quite an exciting car. They really wound the wall, and they'll be going racing with this car. Just look at it in this sun. It looks fantastic.
and that brilliant racing green as well. 202 mile per hour top speed, and you'll hear it before you see it with this one.
Yeah, the Wyra R. Now this one is made track only. They threw away the turbos, they gave the engine the Cosworth, they made it rev to 9.5, and they just made it sing. Anywhere trackside, this is a Wyra R. This is not an F1 car going up the hill. And this owner, he has it for his own use, and he heard it, and he just said, "I've just got to own that car." And here he is,
Behind the wheel, this is the most extreme Pagani hypercar ever made. Naturally aspirated, V12 engine, 850, over 1,000 kilograms. Only 30 of these in the world, and it'll cost you around about 2.6 million euros for the pleasure.
But I think it's for our pleasure as well, and you just hear that go up. There's nothing like it. Yeah, that's very exciting car.
Fantastic from Pagani here. They've got the Wyra R and the Utopia here too. Ferrari Ferrari takes over SP3 to that 1967 Daytona 24-hour race where there were 3 Ferraris in the top 3.
Yeah, a very special car. You have to be invited to buy one of these. They're based on the Ferrari 812 Superfast. He's now, I see, he's taken the roof off. The poor guy, he's had the roof on the last couple of days, but today the weather's perfect and the roof is on, so you get the full force, the full sound. Glorious sound, glorious design. I love that Ferrari are doing these. I think we'll look back on these as very special moments in Ferrari's history. Because these aren't regular cars. These are designed purely for the style, to celebrate their V12 engines.
You ask anybody to pick out a supercar, pick out a race car, and they'll most likely say Ferrari or the red one, and that is doing just that. Now this is proving to be a little bit of a disruptor. Again, the Chinese market is in Europe and the UK. This is the Yangwang U9. This is BYD's luxury brand with their supercar entry.
Yeah, and big numbers, 1,287 horsepower, 1,475 kilos, but with that amount of horsepower, that will soon get rid of that. Isn't it interesting that with the breadth of cars we're seeing from China, and this is right at one end of it, is supercar taking on the establishment, a very nicely designed car, big wing on it. Shame we didn't see it in the shootout. I would have liked to have seen that in the shootout.
Yes, no, not quite making its way up there, but very steadily making its way past the flip wall. 960 kilowatt power out to 450 kilometre range, and actually it's going a bit slowly. The McLaren has to really slow up behind.
The McLaren P1, yeah. Spent a lot of time on those, love that. That is now in track mode, you can tell from the wing, and then that's the McLaren GTS going up the hill. This, believe it or not, is the entry point now at McLaren. This is where the range starts. Oh, yeah, it's kicking up quite a lot of dust just going from Auckland, but not quite as much as that Mustang GTD. Broken away from the McLarens, we're firmly with the Mustang GTD. So this is Ford's Mustang GT3 racer turned into this craze car, limited run car, collectors or people who really want to scare themselves on track. Over 800 horsepower from this thing, supercharged V8 in the front, transaxle gearbox in the back, carbon brakes, super lightweight carbon fibre bodywork, and just look at that thing. What an angry Mustang that is.
Yeah, this is very much a Mustang design to take on the global dynamic debut of this all-new Mustang GTD supercar. Takes its inspiration from the Mustang GT3 race car, but doesn't need to follow any of the rules that GT3 racing requires that to follow. This is Ford's engineers and designers unleashed for the ultimate Mustang.
Proper Scotland. If you fancy one, go down to your Ford dealer now, but I just warn you, it's £315,000.
Just pocket change then, isn't it? This though from Lamborghini Spider making its way up the hill.
And the Evo bit means that it's two-wheel drive, so rear drive with this and this fabulous V10. Look at them, listen to them. This is the last year of the Huracan. This V10 engine moves to a twin-turbo V8 next year. Super high revenue as well, with these singing and just wonderful Lamborghini. For the entry-level Lamborghini, never felt like that at all. And yeah, a very emotional, very loud, typical Lamborghini from style to sound to performance.
Yeah, an output of 640 brake horsepower, 0 to 60 mile per hour in 3.1 seconds. That's Lamborghini. And now this.
Yeah, we haven't seen this much on this. It's very clever. This is an Alpine A110 that Zagato, in component with La Squadra, a Polish supercar company, have done this twin tail, as it's termed, because you can have it in a long tail form or a short tail form. Now, by that, I mean the rear section of the bodywork was extended. This is a long tail front. If you want it short tail and then it's road legal, you take that, you unclip the long tail, and then you can drive around on the street. All carbon body. Unfortunately, it's 650,000 euros. They're going to build 19 of them, and they've already sold 10. They were 10.
Got the Porsche right up behind them as well.
Yeah, Porsche 918. Now we've got the Bugatti Mistral, so this roadster that Bugatti kept telling us they'd never do a convertible version of the Chiron, and then here it is. They did one. And it's quite hard to do structurally because the body was such an integral part of the Bugatti chair and the crazy the air brake going up and you're breaking down that wing right in attack mode in there as he comes into the corner. It's a limited speed once you put the soft top on. It's not a full convertible. There's a glass roof, but yeah, 1600 horsepower Bugatti flying past.
Yeah, that Bugatti Mistral really a swan song for Bugatti's incredible 8-litre quad turbo engine. Now this is the Rimac Nevera from from Rimac, limited edition masterpiece is what they call it.
Yes, we've seen this, another 2000 horsepower four-wheel drive electric motor. This has a special edition with that copper paint on it, and it's amazing that Rimac right now. It's a very interesting company. We all thought the Tourbillon that was launched a few weeks ago, the Chiron replacement would go all electric, but no. They didn't. They went to a V16 engine, and this Rimac carries on with the pure electric sports car.
Yeah, Rimac making a high-performance car for the electric era. As setting off the line, this is 635 in your
CC 860. Where Christian started off, this looks like the earlier Koenigsegg he produced, but it hasn't, drawn it to 385 horsepower and an all-up curb weight of 1,385 kilos. So this is 1 horsepower per kilo. Imagine that. You've got a 2,000 horsepower. That's the power to weight ratio of this crazy car. He's taken the roof off from this one as well, and I've always liked that actually clips under the front bonnet. If you open that front bonnet, that's where the roof panel is. They've always been this convertible thing. Super cool design. I really like to see him doing these sort of models.
I love the story behind this as well, though. 50 units made for the 50th birthday of Christian Koenigsegg, the founder, and then the demand was so high, they made 20 more.
Oh wow, finally I'm seeing this on screen. I haven't seen this this weekend so far. T50S Niki Lauda edition. So this is the track-only version of the T50. That's why it makes so much sound. A little extra horsepower, a little bit higher revs, 12,000 RPM. That V12 Cosworth engine is singing at the moment. More downforce, as you can see from that rear wing. And a soundtrack. Oh my goodness. We've got the very fitting tribute to Niki Lauda.
I think it's now the R8 Speed. You knew that it would take the good as well. It's tricky. Yeah, did you know that Stereo 8 is the very first Ferrari driver signed by Enzo Ferrari? Not the last Formula 1 driver.
quite a lot easier. So in front of the house because the camera, sharp tram lines like that. So I'm very quick to think about it. Sure.